Hello guys. This is training, Monday Mindset training. And I've wrote a few notes, so I will be looking down because I'm not like Jen, I can't wing it. I need to be prepared. So this training is all about mental subtraction. So I read this, I've been reading The Gap and the Gain in book club. And I've had so many different ideas and done so many different exercises within there, and my brain is just full of the stuff. So I've started writing notes on the book and on some trainings that I think we should do in future. So this one today is all about us being in the gain and appreciating every little thing we have, everything, big or small, that you appreciate it and that you're living more in the gain than you are in the gap. So this is an exercise that is great for you to do. And I'm not going to say like do it on a monthly basis or do it every, quarter or whatever, but you should do it regularly. Do the exercise regularly in your own time. Bear with me 1 second. So this is all about you seeing what you have in your life as a gain. And I want you to all to just think about this for a second. What if tomorrow you lost your health? Or what if you lost your spouse? Or what if you didn't have the home you live in? You didn't have your children? What if tomorrow one of those things that are important to most of us were gone? What would that be like? So by imagining that you don't have the things that you have right now that are important to us, we learn to appreciate what we do have. So I want you to start measuring yourself as if you were looking at yourself a year ago. So for me, for instance, I didn't have my health a year ago. So I can count my blessings that since I started the 3-step, which was a year ago yesterday, that I now have my health back, that I'm not in a position where I was, a year and 1 day ago where I couldn't move properly. Like, I count my blessings that I have my health. And look at how far you've come from how you were before to how you are now, to what you were like before you were a mum, for instance, and what you are like now that you have children. Like, I couldn't imagine my life, and I know you'd probably all say the same, without those children in your life. I would not want to go back to the day where, my 2 boys were grown, for instance, and I didn't have Lily running around the house. As much as I look back at pictures and think, oh my God, my house was immaculate, I would still rather have her toys spread all over my house than be without her. So we're going to do a little exercise today. So I know Jen's on the treadmill. Apart from Jen, I want you to grab a pen and paper, because I want you to do this little exercise. And I probably already know that she's already done this exercise about 1,000,000 times because she's read The Gap and the Gain 1,000,000 times. So this exercise is all about mental subtraction. So I want you to start by thinking about something. Now, it can be anything in your life that you don't have. I'm at work, so we're doing my best. That's absolutely fine, babe. Absolutely fine. So I want you to think about one specific thing that you could subtract from your life right now, whether that's your relationship you're in, your children, your health, an achievement that you have now. I want you to think about that one thing and imagine how life would be if you never had that thing, or if that thing was now taken away from you. So I want you to imagine how your life would be if you didn't have that thing. I, for instance, from this exercise, I'm going to take my health as my subtraction. What would my life be like today if I didn't have my health now, or I didn't have these products? Like, what would that be like now? What would it be like if tomorrow morning I woke up and Thrive wasn't there anymore and I felt like crap? Because that's the one thing that I appreciate. Yes, I appreciate my children and my spouse, but when I got healthy, that also changed their lives. So what is that one thing that you could take away now? I want you to start thinking about that. I want you to think about the impact it'd have on your life if you didn't have that one thing. I want you to think about how losing that one thing would affect your future. So if you didn't have that one thing that you have put down on your piece of paper, what would the impact on your future be if you didn't have that one thing? The impact on my future, if I didn't have my health, would be that I would still be led on a sofa. I certainly wouldn't be in this business. I wouldn't have made all the friends that I've made. And I would be feeling very, very bad right now. So I want you to think about the impact on your future. And just like I said with how my health affects my family, how would your one thing affect the people around you? So for me, getting better has made Sam's life better. It's made my children's life better. I hopefully have impacted on some of the friends I've made as well in the last year. So how would it affect the people around you if you didn't have that thing? And I want you to write down how life would be different right at this moment without that. If you woke up tomorrow morning and your thing was your children and you didn't have that in your life, how would your life be different now if you didn't have that? And this is meant to be tough, by the way. It's meant to make you start thinking, and if it makes you emotional, that's cool too. It's meant to make you think about how you would feel and how life would be if you did not have that one thing anymore. And now I want you to refocus on that one thing in your life that you have right now. I have my health right now. I'm blessed that someone introduced me to the products. And now I am, am I completely there? No, I still have goals like the weight side of things, but am I able to run around after my daughter every day? Yes. Am I laying on the sofa every day with aches and discomforts? No. Am I sleeping better at night? Yes. Do I need to take an afternoon nap? No. Like, refocus back on that thing that's important to you, that if it was taken away tomorrow when you woke up, refocus back on that one thing. That one thing that you have just subtracted from your life is a massive, huge gain in your life. And sometimes we tend to fall into the gap about that thing. So, for instance, Lily sometimes drives me mad. Kids do that. And I will moan about her at times, especially when she's having her diva drop. But the gain is that I have her in my life. I was thinking about this earlier. What would I do if she wasn't in my life having a strop? I cannot imagine my life without her in it. So it's learning to appreciate the gains more. Yes, she is having a strop right now. She is having a SAS fit, not right now, but at times. But I appreciate that she is here to do that I have her in my life to do that. So how can you turn those things that you feel into a gain? Like even more into a gain than you already appreciate them, and try not to be falling into the gap. How have your thoughts and feelings changed while you've been doing this exercise? Do you appreciate that one specific thing that you've put down on your piece of paper more now that you've done the exercise, or less? Like, it is about being grateful and blessed and appreciating. This is why most of us do gratitude, is that we are grateful for them little things every single day. So this typical that somebody knocks on my door when I'm doing a training. Bear with me 2 seconds. I am so sorry, guys. The dog would have continually barked if I didn't go downstairs and deal with that. Typical. If it isn't kids, it's dogs, I swear. So I want you to, not right now, but at some point within the next day, repeat that activity, but do it for something completely different. So if you've picked your kids now, do it for your spouse. If you've picked your spouse, do it for your health. You can do it for an event in your life, a possession, something you own. Like, what would it be like now if you didn't have your car? Jen, what would it be like now if you didn't have your house? If you didn't have them beautiful views while you're on your treadmill? Like, it can be for anything, guys. It can be for anything at all. What if you didn't have a hot meal every day? Like, it can be literally anything. You should appreciate everything. So yeah, and also another thing that they do in The Gap and the Gain is he does this with his children and his spouse, which I think is genius. And I will definitely be doing this with Lily and with Sam, because I haven't done it with them yet. But ask them, what if every time they went in the gap, you took away the one thing that they were complaining about? So, for instance, Sam has a nice car and he moans about it. What if I took his car away from him? I know for one thing he would cry because he loves cars and he loves his particular car. You know, what about when the kids moan about a piece of technology they're on, or they're playing a game and they lost the game and they're moaning about it? What if you took their console away from them, or their iPad, or their phone? So talk to them about being more in the gain and appreciating the little things they have. I know for one, when I was growing up, I did not have, well, we didn't when we were growing up, did we, Jen? We didn't have mobiles. We had dial-up connection for our internet, and we didn't have half the things that we've got now. Our kids are blessed that they have all the things they have in these days, because we didn't have any of them things. So imagine, say to them, imagine what you'd feel like if I now took that thing away from you. If I took away everything that you went into the gap about, how would you feel? Like, what would you feel like? It's such a powerful exercise to do, especially with your kids, because kids take things for granted. Mine certainly do. They're not spoilt by any means, but they do have the things that some kids would love. They do have the latest game consoles, and they do have, you know, phones, and we do provide all them things for them. How would they feel if they did not have those things? That you have to make them appreciate things and know how, you know, be grateful for them things. Thankfully, in the real world, we don't lose the thing we're in the gap about, but we do damage it. I'm going to use my partner as a prime example of this. Number one, I know I don't spend enough time with him because I'm always busy. That will over time damage our relationship and in essence damage him. Like, if your specific thing is about another person, by being in the gap about them, like, I know we all moan about our partners, but by me saying, oh my God, he's driving me crazy, you know, you've got to be in the game sometimes. I'd appreciate that he's here. You know, you have to appreciate those things. So, and this is another thing. This exercise is great. Is it going to stop you falling in the gap? No. Because we all do it, and we do it nearly every day. Like, it's freezing cold today. I'm sat here with a scarf on doing training. I'm so cold. I've got the heating on. It's freezing. Have I moaned several times and been in the gap today about how cold it is? Yes. Did I go to the shops earlier and saw a homeless man sat outside, like in a sleeping bag outside? Yes, I did. Am I thankful that's not me? Yes. That's what I'm talking about. You need to appreciate the things you've got. Even though I'm sat here cold, at least I'm not sat outside. At least I've got a home and I'm not living on the streets. So we do go into the gap about people, about things we have. One thing I have wrote down is we go into the gap about other people a lot, turning them into a problem or an enemy. You can't do that. You have to take people as they are. Like, you know, there are people in the world that aren't like us, and we've just got to take everybody and accept everybody as they are at that time. Will you get out of the gap? Whether that's about your business, about somebody, about a possession, about anything, will you get out of the gap? When you are in the gap, you should give yourself 5 minutes in that gap and then move forward. So if I'm going to moan about Sam, or Lily's going to moan that her iPad's not working properly, or Sam's going to moan about his car, I'm going to give them 5 minutes and myself 5 minutes to be in that gap, have a moan, get it all out, but then you've got to move forward. It's the only way you're going to do anything in life is if you stay in the game as much as possible. And then give yourself 10 minutes after you've had your moan and you've been in your gap for 5 minutes. Give yourself 10 minutes and think about the good things you have from that scenario. So for Lily, I would sit her down and get her to think about all the good things she does on her iPad, all the games she can play, all the books she can read, all the songs she hears, all the good things about Sam's car. And for me moaning at Sam, all the good things about Sam for 10 minutes. You solve the gap problem by going straight to the game. So have your 5 minutes and then have your 10. And then you move forward. You do not go back into the gap. You think about all the good things and you move forward. You have to let go or let the past go. You don't live there. So I'm going to open it now to any questions you may have on what I've just discussed about this little exercise that we've done. But I do highly recommend that you do this for different scenarios in your life, purely so that when you do fall into that gap, whether it's, you know, your kids driving you crazy, or your car's not working properly, or your business isn't going the way you want it to go, that you can pull yourself back out of that gap and get back into the game again. And that is all I have for you. But I think the whole book is insane. Like, I love it so much.
It is so good. So good. You did so good. I love
you.
that exercise. And that's something that could be repeated over and over and over again.
Yeah, you can do it for so many different like things. I was writing a list earlier on of all the things that I tend to go in the gap about, but that I appreciate. So you can do that about literally so many things. I chose my health because it's the thing that's changed the most for me over the last year. Like, and I appreciate. And when I was doing this exercise yesterday on my live, it was different. because I remembered how I felt before and how much I appreciate the fact that we've got these products. And what would I do tomorrow if Jason and Paul shut down the company? And I think I would die.
I don't even want to think about that. Don't say that out loud.
So yeah, like I appreciate them things. And even when we are, you know, moaning about something, someone or whatever, you can't stay in that mindset of being in that gap state. You have to get back into the game again, because if you don't, you're going to be at a standstill. And that's with everything. Like, I'm not just talking business, I'm talking life. You're just going to literally stay in that one position. You can't do that.
Yep, I agree. And I love how you use the analogy of the kids, because that specific analogy has helped me have more patience with my kids, especially when I'm like ready to blow my stack.
Yeah.
I think about, what if I didn't have them here to yell at, or if they
Yes.
weren't here, if the girls weren't here fighting with each other, then I just want to like bop their heads together.
Yeah.
It's a really good concept, and I use it on my kids too. Every time Bella complains about her phone, I'm like, what if you didn't have it? How about we just appreciate it?
I know. And I've not done that with Lily or with Sam yet when they moan about things. But I have said to him a lot since I've been reading it, are you living in the gap or the game, Sam? And he's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, right, this is what I'm talking about. Because it's true, we do it, but it's okay to do it. It's just, you've got to pull yourself back out of it again.
Don't live there. Yep.
Yeah. Don't, like they say all the time, don't they? Your past is your past. You don't live there. Like, so true.
Don't live there. Yep. All righty. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining me. I'm going to stop the recording.